The inquest. I start in later.
Please
my
place
lady.
the matter on record, Nelly Seven.
Thank you, Judge. Today is Friday, the 5th of May, 2023. Calling the matter of Life Esidimeni Inquest, case number I-001 of 2021. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Pinar.
Please, the court, please.
Yes. Good morning, Dr. Manamela. Good morning, Mr. Pinar.
Morning, my lady.
Did I say Dr. Manamela, Miss Matlangu? Yes.
Good morning, my lady.
Yes. You are reminded that you are still under oath. Mr. Pinar, you may proceed.
May it please the court, my lady. Miss Matlangu, you are aware of the National Mental Health Policy Framework and Strategic Plan 2013-2020. Is that correct?
Yes, counsel.
Now, the new National Mental Health Policy Framework and Strategic Plan made provision for a process of de-institutionalization of mental health care users. Is that correct?
Yes, counsel.
And that process required a reduction of beds at Life Esidimeni facilities annually by 200 beds. Is that correct?
Yes, counsel.
And this had to be effective. Sorry, my lady. May it please the court, my lady. May I proceed?
Yes, you can proceed.
Thank you, my lady. Now, Ms. Matlangu, this process was or had to be effected over a 5-year period. Is that
I
correct?
think that you are having a problem. I don't know whether it's from our side or there is an echo.
Lady, I doubt whether it's here from my side. If needs be, I'll log out and just return again.
Yes, please do that.
May it please the court, my lady, is the order
Yes, it's much better.
ability
Continue.
better now, my lady?
Yes.
More acceptable. Thank you, Ms. Matlangu.
And can you see Miss Matlangu?
Yes, my lady, I can.
I think I'm having a problem. I don't know. Yes, you may proceed.
May it please the court, my lady. Now, Ms. Mahlangu, this process as contained in the National Mental Health Policy Framework and Strategic Plan 2013-2020 made provision for the deinstitutionalization process to be effected over a 5-year period. Is that correct?
Yes, Council.
And that was a 5-year period was determined to be a sufficient period to see to it that the needs of mental health care users are properly cared for. Is that correct?
Yes, Council.
And notwithstanding this framework, you, Ms. Mahlangu, as the political head of the Gauteng Department of Health, decided that the process should be accelerated. Would that be correct?
My lady, as I said, the decision to terminate the contract was driven from the PBC. And once that was done, as a political head of the Department of Health, that information, that decision had to be executed.
Now, Ms. Mahlangu, am I correct in my conclusion that being a decision, as you've indicated, from the PBC committee, you regarded yourself bound to comply at all costs? Is that correct?
I was part of that decision when it was made. Yes, that's correct.
And when the project committee of the Gauteng Department of Health requested an extension of time, minimum of 6 months or a maximum of a year, you were not inclined to grant that. Is that correct?
3 months was granted, Council. Thank you.
Pardon?
3 months extension was granted after deliberations with the official present in the meeting.
But that was on your instruction. You weren't amenable to granting a longer extension. Is that correct?
Can you please repeat your question, Council?
Ms. Mahlangu, you granted, you said, a 3-month extension. Is that correct?
Yes, we granted the extension after deliberations in the meeting because that was presented in the meeting and we discussed. And the decision of the meeting was that the extension must be granted for another further 3 months, which will make the entire process to have been 9 months in the end.
Just to interject here, you said we granted the extension of 3 months. Who is we?
In the meeting, it was myself and the HOD and the other officials who were there in the meeting. Myself and the HOD.
That's all it is. Yes, continue.
May it please the court, my lady. Now, Ms. Mahlangu, in your capacity as the MEC for the Gauteng Department of Health, did you consider a longer period of extension than 3 months?
I did not cancel because there was no further request for an additional extension after the first one was granted.
Ms. Maflangu, were you at any time subsequent to the meeting where the extension was granted informed that the time available to effect the transfer of all the mental health care users is insufficient?
No, Councillor.
Now, Ms. Maflangu, although the National Mental Health Policy Framework and Strategic Plan provided for a 5-year period, you decided to limit it to a period of 6 months from September 2015 to end of June 2016. Is that correct?
The decision was not mine alone. As I said, it was a decision of the PBC, and I was part of that decision of cancelling the initial contract.
Now, Ms. Maflangu, did you at any stage consider that the decision taken, as you referred to it by the PBC, was contrary to the National Mental Health Policy Framework and Strategic Plan, which provided for a 5-year period?
No, Councillor.
Just all.
And if I may, my lady, at the time when the project was being implemented, and I've said it in all the statements that have been presented before this court, that the team I worked with, at any given point in time, the assurances given to me, including the fact that the Gauteng Department of Health was already rolling out the community-based mental health care programs throughout Gauteng. And at that time, I was informed that there was at least 10,000 mental health care users who would have been discharged from Life Esidimeni or from other government institutions into the NGOs. This is what we call your community-based mental health programs.
Continue, Mr. Pilar.
May it please the court, my lady. Ms. Maflangu, did Mr. Mosanogi request, or rather not request, but make a proposal for the Gauteng Department of Health to purchase Life Esidimeni facilities?
That was not discussed with me, Councillor. They might have discussed it in other forums, but not with me.
Just for the sake of completeness, I'm going to put
Is it Mr. Okay, all right, yes, I think it's Mr. Musino. Continue.
May it please the court, my lady. Just for the sake of completeness, Mr. Mosanogi, during his evidence, confirmed that he had put such a proposal.
I think there's something wrong. I can't hear you clearly. I don't know whether the others can hear you.
Maybe
Let's try again.
Ms. Matlongu?
Yes, something is not right. Just leave the meeting and rejoin.
May it please the court, my lady. May it please the court, my lady. Better?
Yes, it is better, but now I've lost the witness.
She is visible to me, my lady.
Maybe let
Yes.
me log out. Should I log out, my lady? Oh, and come back.
My side.
My lady, I think the problem might be on your side because we have clear audio and video of Mr. Pienaar and the witness.
Yes. You may proceed, Mr. Pienaar.
May it please the court, my lady. Ms. Matlongu, Mr. Mosanoki testified that he had presented you with such a proposal. Any comment to that?
My lady, I've already indicated that Musanoki did not discuss this matter with me at any given point in time.
Just for the sake of completeness, Ms. Matlongu, you rejected the proposal in a derisive manner, inquiring whether Mr. Mosanoki was on the payroll of Life Esidimeni and rejected the proposal.
The interaction, my lady, with Mr. Musanoki in the meeting about the comments are made had nothing to do with the buying of life Esidimeni facilities, which it has been.
Yes, continue.
May it please the court, my lady.
No, I think the witness is still on the platform.
Sorry, my lady.
My interaction with Mr. Msonechi related to the following. That when the department took a decision not to terminate by name, Life Esidimeni came back to the department and said they needed a tariff increase because the other facilities were being, patients were being taken away. And he was insisting that that tariff must be granted. First of all, tariffs are not granted by individual departments. Treasury has to be involved in the approval of tariffs of anything relating to revenue or to activities relating to the budget. Treasury has to be involved. And the third thing is, when I said to Mr. Noki, because he was insisting that the tariffs must be granted, I said to him, but you cannot continue to argue about this passionately as if you work for Life Esidimeni. Yes, that I did say, and it was in the context of the issue of the tariff, nothing else and nothing more.
May it please the court, my lady.
Thank you.
And Ms. Matlongo, is it correct that this resulted in the Advanced Health or the Health Advance Institute being appointed to determine whether Life Esidimeni was acting in accordance with their service level agreement? Is that correct?
I wouldn't agree with that, counsel. First of all, through you, my lady, as I said in the respective evidence led by SC holders, that I did not. I just lost my thought process a bit. If counsel can just please repeat the question so that I can. I got distracted by something. My apologies, my lady.
Mr. Pienaar?
May it please the court, my lady. Ms. Matlongo, is it correct that the Health Advance Institute was appointed to determine whether Life Esidimeni was performing in terms of the service level agreement?
My lady, as I said in the evidence led by counsel, since we started, that the higher report, I only saw it when the Ombuds was asking about it. I do not know when it was commissioned, what was the purpose of it being commissioned, and that is my evidence to this court.
Now, Ms. Matlongo, did you have sight of the Health Advance Institute's report?
I only saw the Health Advance Institute report when the Ombuds was looking for it.
The question is, did you have sight of it?
Not before the Ombuds started the process, my lady.
Were you aware that the Health Institute had been appointed?
I was not aware, counsel.
did you expect to have been informed that such an institution had been appointed to do an investigation?
Come again, Mr. Pina. I didn't pick that up.
May it please the court, my lady. Ms. Mhlongo, would you have expected to have been informed that the Health Advance Institute had been appointed to do an investigation?
I'm not sure if I understand the question, but I'll try to answer to the extent of me understanding the question, my lady. The Department of Health, at any given point in time, the section dealing with monitoring and evaluation and the policy units, they embark on all sorts of kind of commissioning reports, studies, and all of that. And probably it happens that I don't see none of them. I may be lucky, some of them being quoted in presentation that will be given to me to the legislature. When I ask the origin, it will be given. In this instance particularly, I did not see the report before it was requested from me by the Health Ombuds. So I would not have been informed about the report. And the officials and the department's office, the HOD in particular, had the right to commission studies for reports and all of that so that they get informed and directed by those studies and research that they would have commissioned for one reason or the other.
Does that answer your question?
May it please the court, my lady. Mhlongo, is it correct that...
Does that, are you answered?
Sorry, my lady.
I asked whether she answered your question. If you feel that she has answered, you can continue.
My lady, in essence, she has not answered the question, but I don't feel it's justified to repeat the question, my lady.
Okay. All right, continue.
Because there was no indication that it was not understood. Be that as it may, my lady. Now, Ms. Mhlongo, are you aware of the fact that the report concluded that the tariff increase requested was justified?
Yes, I saw that post facto, as I said, when the Ombuds asked for the report. And this was for the tariff related to the broader services provided for through life Esidimeni.
And is it correct, Ms. Mhlongo, that the services rendered by Life Esidimeni was in compliance and compliant with the terms and conditions of the service level agreement?
As stated in the report, counsel, yes.
Now, Mr. Mhlongo, I'm going to move to the Auditor General's comments, if I can refer to it as such, just to refresh your memory. Now, is it correct, Ms. Mhlongo, that the Auditor General issued final management reports to the Gauteng Department of Health for the years 2013, 2014, the financial year 2013, 2014, the subsequent year 2014 to 2015, and the following year 2015 to 2016, as well as for 2016 and 2017. Is that correct?
Yes, the Auditor General issues management letters every single year when they together with the annual report.
Now, Ms. Mhlongo, is it correct that in the 2013-2014 financial year, the Auditor General in the final management report made no reference to the life Esidimeni contract. Is that correct?
In the management letter, the Auditor General, if I may through you, my lady, the management letter will not reflect on specific programs in the department. So none of the programs will be mentioned specifically throughout. If it mentions something, it will say program 1, program 2, program 3, but not single services, because, yeah, let me leave it there.
Just for the sake of completeness, Ms. Mahlangu, no reference was made in the 2014-2015 final management reports of the life Esidimeni contract, nor in the 2015-2016 financial management report. Correct?
My lady, as I said, the Auditor General's management report to department, it will not single out single items or programs that are things that are, or contracts that are mentioned thereof. Those get discussed prior the Auditor General with the officials or the MEC prior the reports being made, finalized and published. And that is my answer, Council.
Ms. Mahlangu, my question is simple. No reference was made to the life Esidimeni contract in those financial years' final management reports. Is that correct?
It is not supposed to be mentioned, Council.
So it means you agree that it was not mentioned.
Yes,
As you say. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
The first reference to the life Esidimeni contract was made in the 2016-2017 final management report by the Auditor General. Is that correct?
I haven't seen that, Council. I'll have to go back and look at that. I can answer the question after tea break.
Pardon?
May I beg your indulgence, my lady, to look at that document and answer Council on these specific questions after tea break?
Can you continue with other questions? It means you'll have to revisit this after the tea break.
The lady, may it please the court. Now, Ms. Mahlangu, is it correct that the Auditor General, when making comments in the final management report, deals or distinguishes between core issues and non-core issues? Is that correct?
Yeah, that will be correct, Council.
Now, expenses with regard to treatment of patients, mental health care patients, would be regarded as a core issue. Is that correct?
Yes, Council.
Court would just bear with me for a minute, my lady. Now, and where the Auditor General in the final management reports deals with arrangements or expenses rather, not arrangements, expenses regarding subsistence, catering and events, and arrangements related to the use of departmental debit and credit cards, such would be non-core events. Is that correct? Or services?
Can you please repeat the question, Council, through you, my lady?
May it please the court, my lady. Ms. Mahlangu. Just to have clarity for yourself, You've indicated treatment of patients, be it mental health care patients, are regarded as core services. My question now is issues regarding expenses relating to travel and subsistence, catering and events, and the utilization or use of departmental debit and credit cards are regarded as non-core services. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Counsel. But if I may say something, my lady, on two aspects. I always held the view that, and this is the view that I would have expressed in respective executive council meetings, that when you look at the expenditure relating to catering in the Department of Health, it's not like the catering you'll see in the Department of Sports or Department of Social Development. It's catering related to kitchens the department is running, supporting, giving food to patients on a daily basis. So the travel expenses and all others, those would be fitting the category that the council is talking about. And the credit card of the department, again, it fits the explanation that the council is talking about. And I think there was a decision taken by the provincial government, and I think I can't remember which year, that we stopped using credit cards, particularly for political office bearers.
Okay. Continue.
May it please the court, my lady. Now, Ms. Mthlangu, are you aware that National Treasury issued a practice note on the 1st of January 2014?
My lady, I'm not sure whether there's a question after what.
Yes. The question is, are you aware that National Treasury issued a practice note on the 1st of January 2014? Are you aware?
Treasury issues practice note, my lady, on a lot of things, so I'm not sure which one exactly council is referring to.
Mr.
May it please the court, my lady. Ms. Mthlangu, I will get to that aspect. My question is, are you aware of such a practice note having been issued by Treasury, National Treasury?
She wants to, okay.
On which subject, my lady? Treasury issues practice note on supply chain, on traveling, on a lot of things. So and those largely are sent to the HODs and the CFOs. So I'm not sure the specific one that council wishes me to comment on is which one.
Right, please the court, my lady. I will elaborate on this. In practice note 1 of 2014, National Treasury demanded cost-saving measures be implemented with regard to the following. See, Ms. Mthlangu, you taking notes? Are you with me?
Yes, Councillor, I am.
The appointment of consultants. Firstly. Secondly.
Well, sorry, Councillor, just yes, Councillor.
Secondly, travel and subsistence expenses. Thirdly, catering and events. Fourthly, arrangements related to the use of departmental debit and credit cards. Do you agree with that?
Should I comment on all of this, or?
You can give a comment on holistic as a whole. Do
Okay,
you agree or don't you agree?
I agree that this practice note, yes, was issued. And further to that, my lady, the format being given by provincial treasuries to departments when constructing their budget proposals to the Premier's Budget Committee, it has to look into some of those things. As a result, for instance, talking to the issues raised here in this practice note, all our meetings in the Department of Health when I was there, when I met with management, it would be either on the 22nd floor boardroom, and there will be no catering, only tea provided, or we'll meet in one of the auditoriums or the boardroom in the respective hospitals. For instance, the Friday's meetings that was discussing finances, those meetings were held at the Helen Joseph in one of our boardrooms. Only tea was provided. So, and in relation to the travel and subsistence expensive, as a result of this.
Lady, in respect, I don't want to interrupt the witness, but this was not the question, my lady.
Yeah, that is where I was getting, but I was surprised if you didn't interject, because I was asking myself, was this the question? But she has answered the question, isn't it?
That's correct, my lady.
You may proceed.
No explanation was requested.
Yes, you just wanted to know whether she was aware of the practice note.
Correct, my lady.
Yes.
My apology, my lady.
Ms. Maslangu, the issues referred to in National Treasury Practice Note of the 1st of January 2014 referred to non-core issues. It did not refer to any core issue. Is that correct?
Yes, Council.
Now, Ms. Mthlangu, did you attend the Premier Budget Committee meeting on the 26th of November 2014?
Yes, I was a member of the PBC. Yes, I attended that meeting.
Pardon?
I was a member of the committee. Yes, I was present in that meeting.
In that meeting, did you, Ms. Mthlangu, represent to the Premier and the committee members that the Gauteng Department of Health intended to gradually close down services offered by Life Esidimeni by means of a reduction of beds per annum by 20%. Is that correct?
No, Council. In that meeting, we presented the cost containment measures in a broader sense. The names of the contracts, the details were not discussed in that meeting.
I want to put it to you that would, if that had been represented, it would have constituted a 5-year project with the objective of being able to absorb mental health care users into departmental institutions. Is that correct?
No comment, Council.
Is it further correct, Ms. Maslangu, that during that meeting, no mention or indication was made that mental health care users would be placed at NGOs or transferred to NGOs.
The meeting discussed the cost containment as a principle and those items listed. The meeting did not discuss the details of each and every item, what it meant.
Yes,
Ms. Mahlangu? I put it to you that you intended at the Premier Budget Committee meeting on the said date to intimate to the committee that the same key services would be provided in state institutions as had been provided by Life Esidimeni. And that's the first point. Sorry, my lady.
Yes, I think the question is too long. If you can try to simplify it for her to understand.
May it please the court, my lady. Ms. Mahlangu, did you indicate to the Premier Budget Committee that the intention was to provide mental health care users with the same services in state institutions as provided by Life Esidimeni?
I don't remember that being discussed. As I said through my lead, the budget committee discusses principles. It does not discuss details. Those details would have been discussed by the officials in the department in respective operational meetings, where they were in their own operational meetings.
And then secondly, Ms. Mahlangu, the Gauteng Department of Health ability to implement the project of a 20% reduction per annum would depend on the availability of beds in state institutions. Is that correct?
Initially, they said so, and later on, they said the NGOs.
May the court just bear with me for a moment, my lady. May it please the court, my lady. Now, Ms. Mahlangu.
Ms. Counsel.
As I indicated initially, to which you had agreed in my cross-examination when I started posing questions to you, was that the comments or remarks received from the Auditor General was one of the main reasons to terminate the life Esidimeni contract. And which you agreed to, is that correct?
My lady, yes, counsel.
But now I put it to you, Ms. Mahlangu, that such Auditor General remarks could not have constituted a main reason, or one of the main reasons, to terminate the life Esidimeni contract. Because, as you've confirmed, it never referred to core issues, which you've agreed to. Is that correct?
My lady, if I may.
Yes.
And I wish to beg the indulgence of the court here. There's very few services delivered by the Department of Health that is not core. There's very, very few. Whether it be the porter, be it the security, be it the cleaner, be all of those revolves around the safety, the hygiene, and all of that of the patient in any health facility. So, and this is the difficulties we've always had when we discuss with Treasury about cost containment measures in health. What is core, what is non-core? And I'd like to leave the matter at that.
Thank you. Proceed, Mr. Pinner.
I please the court, my lady. Now, Ms. Mahlangu, Ms. Barbara Creasy was the MEC for Finance in the Gauteng Provincial Department. Is that correct?
Yes, counsel.
Is it correct that should additional funds?
I think there's something wrong. I don't know. But it's only at the beginning. Then as you proceed, it becomes better. I don't know. But now it's going to disrupt the recording.
Maybe I
Yes,
should recommence, my lady.
Please do.
Ms. Mahlangu, is it correct that if or that should additional funding be required, for example, by the Gauteng Department of Health on a core issue or core service rather, then Ms. Creasy, the MEC for Finance, would be able or in a position to approve such expenditure? Is that correct?
The answer is not as straightforward as counsel wishes to, if I may, through you, my lady. The reason why there is a budget committee chaired by the Premier, with the presence of members identified by the Premier to serve there. At national, that committee will be called Ministers' Committee on the Budget. At the provincial, is called a Premier's Budget Committee. The reason why you have such committee is that remember, we are all competing for the same resources. There's education, there's health, there's social development, there's all others. And every one of these departments provides core services in their portfolio. When the PBC makes the decision about allocation of resources to a particular department. It considers for the incoming financial year, which will start on the 1st of April, but it also looks on the outer years. That's what is called medium-term expenditure framework. So when you take the medium-term expenditure framework, whilst you are given 34 billion as an example this year, then the indicative allocation, which will factor inflation and all of that, for the next financial year, you'll have sight of that. But the actual approval would have been granted when MEC Chrissy announces. And once that announcement is done, the departments go ahead and implement. The point I'm driving to your council is not as simple as, oh, now the Department of Health is short of this and that. You go and just write a letter, money is given. The budget committee approves, and if there's additional pressures throughout in the year, in September, so there's adjustments, those are factored when the MEC announces the medium-term budget policy statement in November. And if there's any reprioritization from one program to the other, that is announced there. So it's not as straightforward as member council is making it. And government does not work on individual. It is a team, and there's a lot of processes.
With all due respect to the witness, without interrupting her, that was not the question that I posed. The question was actually simple. Can the MEC for Finance be approached in order to obtain funds?
They can be approached, but through this process that I'm talking about, that is in line with the medium-term budget policy statement that is revised in the adjustment in October, November, and thereafter it's going to be effected in the next financial year for the MCF.
Yes, Mr. Flango, with all due respect, I did not request an exposition of processes.
Can we move? The question has been answered.
May it please the court,
Please,
my
Ms.
lady.
Mahlangu, listen to the question and answer what you are requested to answer.
My lady,
Yes,
if I
Mr.
may.
Hodes?
That wasn't the question. If I can just tell your ladyship what the question was. The question was as follows. Should additional funding be required by the Gauteng Department of Health on a core issue or service, then Mr. Creasy's MEC for Finance would be able or in a position to approve such expenditure. So I did ask what the procedure was with respect, my lady, and the witness is correct. When he rephrased it, he asked a different question. It wasn't the same question.
Yes, I get that point. Luckily, the question is on record. But the initial question, in any event, didn't require the procedure. The question was, should additional funding be required? Then he gave an example. The question was just that, should, in that instance, would Ms. Creasy be in a position to approve it?
Yes, my lady, that required an explanation of how
but
the procedure works.
she could still have just said yes or no and then start explaining, because now she came with a lot of details. Okay, it's on record in any event. And the second question that was asked, even if they are different, but the fact of the matter is it is on record, isn't it? Thank you.
Thank you, my lady.
Proceed.
Please, the court, my lady. Support you, just bear with me, my lady. Ms. Mahlangu, would you agree with me? The whole termination project of the Life Esidimeni service level agreement was a rushed process.
I do not agree, Council.
Pardon?
She says she doesn't agree.
Thank you, my lady. The national policy provided for a 5-year period, which was now compounded into a 6-month period. That correct?
To a 9-month period.
Nine months being much shorter than 5 years, is that correct?
Yes, Council.
And is it correct, Ms. Maflangu, that this deinstitutionalization process,
Deinstitutionalization.
sorry, my lady, I started altering over my own tongue. With the termination of the Life Esidimeni project, affected the mental health care users directly. Is that correct?
Yes, Council.
And keeping in mind the shorter time period of 9 months, more care and circumspection was required in the transfer of mental health care users. Is that correct?
Yes, Council.
Is it correct, Ms. Maflangu, that prior to the termination project being initiated, you as the MEC did not acquaint yourself with the procedures that had to be followed? Is that correct?
I am not an executor, Council. MECs are not implementers. I did not have to understand the processes. At the executive level, the implementers are at the lower level. So they needed to understand the procedures.
So therefore, Ms. Maflangu, where the project team informed you they needed more time, such was not granted by you, although you weren't acquainted with the processes. Is that correct?
Time extension counsel was granted, my lady.
Well, I'm going to put it to you, Ms. Maflangu, that the project team, when Mr. Mosanogi made his request to you of an extension of minimum of 6 months to 1 year, the project team was in agreement with Mr. Mosanogi. Is that correct?
Time was granted, counsel, when extension was requested. And all the project team members were present in the meeting. There was no contra reviews raised.
Ms. Maflangu, evidence has been presented, I'm not going to repeat it, but has been presented that you were not amenable to consider any longer period, such as was requested. Is that correct?
That's not correct, my lady. Because when extension was requested, it was granted after the discussion in the meeting with the project team.
Ms. Maflangu?
All right, yes, proceed.
Ms. Maflangu, did you consider an extension of 1 year?
We considered the facts provided. On the basis of that, further 3 months extension was granted, which made it a total of 9 months.
Can you please listen to the question, Ms. Mahlangu? Can you rephrase that question, Mr. Pina?
May it please the court, my lady.
If I may, I don't want to interfere, but remember that the court is well aware that you granted a 3 months period, right? Just listen to the question. That evidence is on record, and you have been repeatedly saying that. Continue.
As the court pleases, my lady. Ms. Mahlangu, were you amenable to consider a longer period of at least a year, as requested by Mr. Mosanofi and the project team?
If it was asked beyond the initial time, that would have been considered, counsel.
Thank you. I think we can, I don't know. It's now 16 minutes past 11. I don't know whether you want to proceed or
My
should
lady,
we take
I
the...
think it would be a convenient time to take the tea adjournment.
Okay.
And then
Ms.
we can
Martha?
commence at 11:30, and I should be finishing not too long afterwards, my lady. I
Okay.
foresee.
My lady,
Mr. Late?
I request this court to excuse me for the remainder of the day. Mrs. Marriott will attend to the evidence leader's duties.
Now.
Yes, I've got another arrangement for the rest of the day. Mrs. Marriott will attend to the further duties of the evidence leaders.
Okay. Thank you. You are excused. The witness is warned, and we can take the tea adjournment now and resume at 11:30. Thank you.
As the court pleases.
As your ladyship pleases.
Lady, through you, I did not visit one human being can enormously carry on day-to-day diligently and all of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May it please the court, my lady. So, Ms. Mahlangu, I'm going to put it to you once again. Having been informed of the serious and grave concerns, you deemed it not necessary or expedient to visit any NGO during the termination process of the Life Esidimeni service level agreement. Is that correct?
That's incorrect, counsel.
You lost the court.
Mr. Pina is muted.
Mr. Pina,
Sorry, thank
can
you for that.
anybody of you?
No, sorry, my lady.
Yes?
I thought you appeared to be muted. Sorry, my lady, it was my problem.
Yes, proceed. That's fine.
May it please the court, my lady. Which NGO did you attend upon during the termination process of the Life Esidimeni service level agreement, except for Precious Angels, which was subsequent to the 30th of June 2016?
My lady, my evidence is that I did not go to any NGOs before the termination was completed. I further said
Yes.
to the NGOs after the mental health removed, which was Sirman, Precious Angel, and Masiko.
Now, Ms. Mahlangu, were you aware of the fact that the transfer process that the Gauteng Department of Health had commenced with required sufficient time for mental health care users to adapt and acclimatize to new surroundings.
Yes, that was discussion mentioned in the meeting. Thank you, Council.
And we are aware of the fact that it could up to 9 months Mr. Sango, I'm going to request, were you aware of the fact that when a transfer of
I'm going to
mental-
stop you now. I
Sorry,
think
my lady.
you keep on breaking. I don't know what's wrong. Perhaps you should just leave the meeting and rejoin.
Thank you, my lady. I'll do so.
While he does that, perhaps Miss Matlangu's team can check, because with her, I think, but I think she seems to be fine now, because I think your picture,
Should I?
the camera, yes.
Like this, my
Perhaps
lady?
you can also, yeah, there's something
It's
wrong
fine,
with from your side.
Is it fine like this, my lady?
No, it's even worse now.
We can see her clearly, my lady.
Can you all see her clearly? Mr.
Yes, my lady. Yes.
Can you see her clearly?
Yes, my
Yes, my
lady.
lady, I can.
Maybe it's from my side. That's fine.
Should I exit, my lady, and come back? Oh,
No, they say they're happy. They say they can see you clearly. Mr. Pinar, can you see the witness clearly? Yes,
May
I
please
think you're
report,
much
my lady.
better off.
The witness as well as yourself are not visible to me at this stage. You are visible now, my lady.
And the witness?
Not the witness, my lady.
But now she's much better off. Oh.
okay. Let me
Just try again. No, just try again. You were right. You were fine. And I don't know what happened.
Oh. Is it okay like this?
Mm-mm. And now you've moved to the other side. Just come back to the middle. Yes, but then the picture is still not that. Yeah, you are okay now. Just leave it there.
I'll try to get another computer, my lady, over the weekend so that we can probably.
No, but there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Continue, Mr. Pina.
Lady, unfortunately, at this stage, you're not visible, nor the witness.
Come again? Am I not
My
visible
lady,
myself?
we see you perfectly,
No, my
my lady, and the witness. We see everybody.
I can also see all of you.
The witness, please don't just stay wherever you are, Miss Matlangu, because I can see you perfectly.
All right.
Mr. Pina, do you still encounter problems?
My lady, I do not see the witness. She's not visible to me at this stage. Your ladyship is, but it's a bit blurred, but that's all.
Maybe if Mr. Pinar
can
can log out and come back.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Please do, Mr. Pina.
May it please the court, my lady, I'll do so.
Can you see us?
Lady, yourself as well as the witness, Ms. Mflangu, is not visible at this stage.
Is there anyone assisting you from that side, technically? Mr. Pinar, I
Maledi,
think you need a...
Even
Yes,
on my side, I can't
Sorry,
see
my
you,
lady.
Advocate
Sorry.
Sibara.
you can't see who?
I can't see you.
You can't see me,
Yes.
Mr. Profi?
Mary, I apologize for interrupting. I just want to be of some assistance to Mr. Pinar. When he logs out, is he clicking rejoining on the same link, or is he joining through?
He must just log out completely. You didn't do the rejoining on the previous one.
Correct. 'Cause if he
Thank you.
rejoins, it will be the same. So I
Thank
just
you.
suggest.
Can you see me, Mr. Profi? Can you see me and the
everybody
witness?
fine. Everybody's fine on my end.
Thank you.
I
Thank you, my
can't see your
lady, and Mr.
leadership now.
Profi, but I will log out altogether, my lady.
Yes, please do.
My lady, you are no
Who
longer
said
visible on
he
my side.
he can't see me? Is that Mr. Pitlela?
Correct, my lady. I can't see you now.
Yeah,
Yes, my
perhaps
lady,
you must just log.
I can't see you either, my lady.
You can't see me also.
No.
That is still
Well,
the position on my side, Sibara.
My lady, we have perfect vision of you and of the witness and Mr. Pino. So I think the
Perhaps
client's
you must,
individual
all of
people's
you who
problems.
say you can't see us, perhaps you must just exit the meeting and rejoin or log in again.
I'll do so, my lady.
May it please the court, my lady, everybody is visible now.
Yeah, you see now. Let's just, is that, I think it was Mr. Was it Mr. Sibara and
Yes,
Pitlela?
my lady. I left and I came back now. I can't see the witness and I can only see Mr. Pinar. I'll leave again.
Please do.
The same on my side. I also see Mr. Pinar, but no.
Don't rejoin on the first one, please. Just log out completely.
No, it's perfect, my lady. I can see everyone now.
Okay.
Thank you, my lady.
May it please the court, my
Mr.
lady.
Pichela, I
Sorry.
think we can proceed. I don't see Mr. Pichela. Are
Yes,
you
my
sorted?
lady. Yeah, I can see Advocate Pinar.
You still
but I
can't see
cannot see.
anyone.
No,
Something should be
I'll
wrong.
just try. I'll just try again.
Please
My
do.
lady, I have the same problem as Mr. Pichlela.
But what is
I don't
happening?
know. Lady, I would not have an explanation. I'll leave again, but I've already left and returned 3 times with the same result each time.
That is what was happening to me yesterday, I think.
Yeah, that problem started again, my lady, even on my side. Oh, don't know. I can only see a blurry Mr. Pinar.
I think those are network issues, I think.
I think, my lady, I've identified a bit of where the problem lies. With me, login using the app. That's why I get a problem. I'm using the browser now, and it's fine. I can see everyone.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And my lady, I think when a witness testifies, the most important person is the witness. So if people can see the witness and they can hear the voices of other people, we should be able to proceed.
The problem is you as the cross-examiner, and the court has to be able to see the witness.
Yes, indeed. So as
the
long as
others
Mr.
you can
Pinar-
do so, but the cross-examiner and the court will have to look at the face of the witness. It's very important. Yes.
Yes, that's the point that
Thank
I'm
you.
making, that as long as the witness can be seen and we can hear the voices of everybody, we should be able to proceed. Yeah.
Thank you.
My lady, with respect, what if I want to object? So, and I'm unable to follow what is happening. I mean, I think we should just try and resolve this thing first.
How do we resolve that, Mr. Pichel?
I think I've laid forth a suggestion that they should try to log in using the browser and not the app.
Okay. Where are they? Please confirm if you can follow now so that we shouldn't be wasting more time. Mr. Van Bergen and Mr. Sibara. I take it that these are the only ones who have the problem. I don't see them joining. I don't know. Mr. Makani, are you there? Can any one of you check with Mr. Van Bergen and Mr. Sibera?
My lady, I've just spoken to Advocate Van Bergen. He indicated that the system doesn't allow him to gain access. He's just going to switch off his computer and then rejoin.
Okay. Mr. Makani, are you there? Or anybody who can update us on what is happening with Mr. Sibara?
Thank you. Hey, please the court, my lady. I believe Miss Marriott informed your ladyship regarding the position of Mr. Van Bergen.
Yes.
Who's having serious problems, it appears.
No, thanks, my lady. The technician had to restart the laptop, my lady. I'm back now.
Okay, the problem is I don't think Mr. Van Bergen is started yet.
Yeah.
Can we just wait for him?
Thank you, my lady.
Thank you.
My lady, Advocate van Bergen informed me that we can proceed. As far as I'm aware, I think his attorney is also part of the proceedings. I've just sent him the link again so that he can join through that link.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Pienaar?
May it please the court, my lady?
Yes, you may proceed then.
As the court pleases. Ms. Mahlangu?
I think, what about your camera now?
Aren't I visible, my lady?
I can see Mr. Pienaar.
You can,
my lady.
yeah, this
Yes.
thing.
Me too, my lady. I can see him very clearly.
No, this thing is doing now.
My lady, it's Mr. Martin here. I've been able to see everybody the whole time. I'm not sure if the court is gone.
Yeah.
It must be a signal thing because
I think it's a
people are
signal
having
thing
individual
in town.
problems.
I think it's a signal thing in town, yeah, around the block.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm back now.
Lady, just to advise that I've also been able to log back on. My apologies for the inconvenience.
Okay, thank you so much. Where is the witness? Can you all see the witness and Mr. Pienaar?
Yes, my lady.
Yes.
There's something wrong again with me from my side. I'm going to use my this thing now. Just bear with me. Okay, let's proceed. I see the witness now. Mr. Pinar?
Seems that he's now frozen, my lady.
Mr. Pinar? Yeah.
I will contact him, my lady.
Okay, thank you.
My lady, I got hold of Mr. Shabonga, who's with Mr. Pinar. They've got load shedding at the moment and are experiencing difficulties, but they're trying to get back online.
Thank you.
As your ladyship pleases.
Is Mr. Pinar back?
May it please the court, my lady. Yes, I'm present.
Okay. Thank you. You may proceed.
May it please the court, my lady. Now, Ms. Mahlangu, on the 26th of January 2016, you had a meeting with the project team. Do you recollect that?
No, counsel. I had a meeting with the families. I attended the meeting with the families.
Come again? Yes, madam.
I attended the meeting with the families, my lady.
On this date?
Yes, my lady.
Okay. Okay.
For sake of clarity, Mr. Mogi testified or gave evidence that on that date, being the 26th of January 2016, he made a project team representation to you, indicating that the department, that's the Gauteng Department of Health, required 1,854 medical health care users that had to be transferred from Life Esidimeni facilities.
I remember that figure, my lady.
Thank you.
I remember that figure, my lady, but the exact date, I wouldn't be sure which date was it.
That's fine, Ms. Mahlangu. Are you also or let me rather put it this way, do you know Dr. Tebe Madigwe, a psychiatrist at Tara Hospital?
Yes, I know him. He attended some of our meetings.
And is correct that he explained to you the process when transferring medical health care users?
Come again? He explained? There's something wrong with the record from your side, Mr. Pinar.
Sorry, my lady, can't the witness hear me or?
But I wish the question to be repeated, my lady. I didn't understand it.
But could you hear the question?
But I'm saying, can I please repeat that question?
No, it's fine, but we want to know if you can hear Mr. Pinar.
Yes, I can hear you, my lady.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
May it please the court, my lady. Ms. Mahlangu, did Dr. Tebe Madigwe explain to you the process to be followed when medical health care users were transferred?
It was Dr. Madigwe, Dr. Sobudela, and Dr. Park who would talk about those issues in the meeting, in the project meeting when I was present.
And would you agree that that process is a time-consuming process, correct?
Well, I wouldn't know how the implementation would go, but they would explain that, if I may, my lady, that MHCUs must be familiarized going back and forth to the new institutions. And that's why one of the things we did was to bring in the chief directors of the respective district as to be part of the project team.
Now, Dr. Mahlangu, were you aware of the fact that before a medical health care user is transferred from Life Esidimeni, doctors would need to ensure that, one, they were fit for discharge? Were you aware of that?
I was informed, Council.
And that the discharging or transferring of long-term patients suddenly would result or could result in the deterioration of their health due to various complications. Were you aware of that?
May Council repeat that question, my lady? And a bit slower.
Sorry? I'll do so. That the discharging or transferring of long-term patients suddenly would result in the deterioration of their health due to various complications. Were you aware of that?
I'm not a medical profession. I wouldn't be. I can't speak on authority on that.
Sorry, but the question is, why were you informed of this by Dr. Madikwe?
What they informed me in the meetings was the processes of discharging and familiarization thereof. As to the nitty-gritties of the actual transferring, what it will mean to the patient, those things would not have been in my knowledge. I am not an expertise in health.
And furthermore, that medical healthcare users, once deemed stable enough, required first to be released on leave of absence. Were you informed of that?
Yes, they did inform me about in the meeting.
And leave of absence initially for a few days at a time and eventually for longer periods. Were you informed of
yes,
that?
Sir.
Prior to them being discharged home or into NGO facilities?
Yes, Council.
And when released on leave of absence, initially it was only for a few days at a time. Were you informed of that?
Yes, Council.
And eventually...
Yes, Mr. Just a second. I think Mr. Hodes has got a concern here. Mr. Hodes?
My lady, I'd like Mr. Pienaar to establish what the relevance of these questions are. I asked for Hannah Jacobus. I don't understand the relevance with respect. We can listen for days to these questions, but I don't know how they impact on his client or the basis of this cross-examination. No version's been put.
Just a second. We've agreed that once an objection is raised, the witness must step aside. If you can just excuse us for now.
So I object to this line of questioning. It's just going on, and it doesn't appear to be relevant with respect.
Mr. Pienaar?
May it please the court, my lady, with all due respect to my learned friend, Mr. Hodes, the questions are relevant. It's with regard to the time periods that were utilized and available for the termination project, whether that was suitable, and therefore the witness has indicated she did not know the process or the procedure. Therefore, this has been put to her. Now she's responding thereto. And that then it becomes relevant to the time period and the time constraints that had to be met. With all due respect, my lady, I submit the questions are relevant.
Mr. Hodes?
My lady, I dispute that they're not relevant and they have nothing to do with his client.
think
That's
even
an
if
absolute
it
fishing
doesn't have
expedition.
anything to do with his client, I think it's these are important.
Good, my lady. Ms. Matlangu, just to refresh your memory, the last question you responded to was that you had been informed that the leave of absence would initially be for a few days at a time. You recollect that?
Yes, counsel.
And eventually for longer periods. Is that you were aware of that?
I was informed, counsel.
Before they could be discharged, that's now the mental health care users, before they could be discharged home or into NGO facilities. Were you informed of that?
Yes, counsel.
Now, Ms. Matlangu, would you agree? Taking into consideration this process, it is a process that requires time, correct?
Counsel, I am not an implementer. When we make decisions, those who implement know how long and the amount of time it's going to take to do this kind of thing. I am not able to answer a question with authority.
Thank you. Well, I'm not requesting you to answer the question with authority. I'm merely putting that it is a time-consuming process. Is that correct?
I cannot comment, counsel.
Thank you. Now, Ms. Matlangu, I put it to you that the termination process of the life Esidimeni service level agreement was proceeded with hastily, without complying with the proper requirements for the process required of discharge.
I have no
Any comment?
I have no comment, counsel.
Thank you.
Continue.
And I'm going to, Ms. Matlangu, furthermore, I put to you that you failed or neglected to comply with your constitutional duty as an MEC during the termination process of the Life Esidimeni service level agreement. Do you have any comment to that?
I disagree with you, counsel. At any given point,
within from March to June, within 3 months.
Just before the witness, yeah. I'm going to request you not to ask very long questions. Your questions are too long. And I don't know whether you can all hear him. I'm struggling from this side. Perhaps if I'm the only one, I'll have to exceed and do something. Can the witness hear?
It's breaking. It's breaking.
Ms. Matlangu, please stop us where you don't hear Mr. Pinar.
Yes, Councillor, well.
Okay, continue.
May it please the court, my lady.
You see, even when you start, you break. Then as you go along, you come back and then you break again. I don't know whether it is that problem of load shedding.
My lady, yes, plan 2013 to 2020.
My lady, I do not understand the question.
Mr. Pinar?
May it please the court, my lady, I will endeavour to rephrase this question, or the statement rather, and the witness can just indicate whether she comments or not. Ms. Matlangu, I put it to you that there was no valid reason or justification to deviate from the National Mental Health Policy Framework and Strategic Plan 2013 to 2020. Any comment on that?
No comment.
Further, I put it to you, Ms. Matlangu, that there was no justification to proceed with the termination project of the Life Esidimeni service level agreement in the manner which this Honourable Inquest Court has been informed about. Any comment?
No comment, Councillor.
Now, Ms. Matlangu, you're a sworn-in member of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, is that correct?
Yes,
Councillor. Or you were?
She was.
Was, thank you. Is that correct, Ms. Matlangu?
She has responded, yes.
Sorry, my lady, I didn't hear that, sorry. If the court would just bear with me for a minute. Now, Ms. Matlangu, is it correct that in terms of section 104, in brackets subsection 3 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, you are bound to act within the limits of the Constitution? Is that correct?
You are not audible.
Sorry, my lady. Seems we're having problems with all these load shedding interruptions, but maybe I should leave and come back again, my lady.
Yes, please do.
May it please the court, my lady. Hopefully I'll be
Yes.
audible now.
Yes, proceed.
My lady, must I repeat
Yes,
the
just
question?
repeat the question. Yes.
May it please the court, my lady. Now, Ms. Matlangu, in terms of section 104, between brackets 3, that's subsection 3 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, you, as a member of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, was bound to act in accordance and within the limits of the Constitution. Do you agree?
I am not sure if I follow the question. Section 104 is very broad. It's got 1 up to 5 subsections, and it deals with a number of things. And this is a legislature as a body, not the executive council. So I'm
He's
not
referring to section 104, subsection 3. Perhaps you should look at that.
through you, my lady. The sections reads that.
No, just look at it. If it's not relevant, you can just respond. It's fine. Mr. Pinar, I hope you have done your homework.
I don't know what the no comment on the section, Chair.
You don't have any comment.
Court,
Okay.
lady. And in your oath of office, Ms. Matlangu, you swore faithfulness to the Republic and obedience to the Constitution. Do you agree?
Yes, that's correct, Council.
Now, Ms. Matlangu, as the MEC, you are accountable for the decisions implemented by the Gauteng Department of Health. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm accountable to the legislature. Yes, that's correct.
Now, Section 133 of the Constitution, subsection 1, requires that members of the Executive Council of a province are responsible for the functions of the executive assigned to them by the Premier. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And then further, section 133, subsection 2, members of the Executive Council, such as yourself, Ms. Matlangu, of a province are accountable collectively and individually to the Legislature for the exercise of your powers and the performance of your functions. Is that correct?
That is accurate.
Now, and then in terms of section 133, subsection 3, members of the Executive Council of a province must A, act in accordance with the Constitution and if a constitution has been passed for a province, also the provincial constitution. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. Now, Ms. Matlangu, I'm going to put it to you. Keeping the aforesaid in mind, that you failed to comply with the provisions of the new National Mental Health Policy Framework and Strategic Plan 2013 to 2020. Any comment?
I disagree with you, Councillor.
Was this question not answered previously? I think you are repeating it.
May it please the court, my lady.
Please refrain from doing that.
I'm indebted to your ladyship. The reason, Ms. Maslongo, is that you failed to proceed with the deinstitutionalization of mental health care users over a period of 5 years.
I disagree with you, Councillor.
And in this regard, Ms. Maslongo, I put it to you that you failed to ensure and protect the mental health care users' rights and to provide proper, adequate support to the mental health care users during the termination process of the Life Esidimeni service level agreement. Any comment?
No comment.
Would just grant me a minute, my lady, please. Further, Ms. Maslongo. I put it to you that your failure to finalize the deinstitutionalization of medical health care users.
Is it medical health care users or mental health care users?
Mental, sorry, my lady, sorry, it's my mistake there.
Okay,
mental health care users. Over a period of 5 years, during the termination process of the Life Esidimeni service level agreement, notwithstanding all the concerns raised and presented to you, resulted in you neglecting to comply with the Gauteng Department of Health Mental Health Directed Policy of 2014-2020. Any
20.
comment? 13-2020, sorry, Mr.
No comment, Councillor.
Please
further.
Avoid asking very long questions. You can break your questions into parts if you can't
I'll endeavour to do that.
Reduce them.
Then,
Yes.
may it please the court, my lady. Ms. Maflangu. I put it to you that your haste to proceed with the termination project in a manner as evidence has been presented was in neglect of your duties, constitutional duties and obligations to mental health care users. Any comment?
I have no comment due to counsel.
And your conduct, Ms. Maflangu, by not granting a longer period of extension as requested by Mr. Mosonogi and the project team, exacerbated this situation.
I disagree with you, counsel.
And in this regard, Ms. Maflangu, you failed and neglected your constitutional duty to medical health care users.
Mental health care users.
Mental, yes, my lady. By denuding them of human dignity as provided for in Section 10 of the Constitution. Further, any comment?
I have no comment.
Further, you denuded mental health care users of their constitutional right to an environment that is not harmful to their health or well-being. Any comment?
No comment.
And furthermore, Ms. Maflangu, you denuded mental health care users of their constitutional right in terms of Section 27 of the Constitution to proper health care, food, water, and social security. Any comment?
No comment.
Now, hopefully, I'm nearing the end of my cross-examination, my lady. One last point, and then I should be complete. Ms. Maflangu. I put to you that you have committed an offence in terms of the Mental Health Care Act 17 of 2002. Any comment?
I have no comment, counsel.
And the reason I'm going to present you Miss
Just a second. I think there is a hand here. Although it came late, Mr. Martin.
Thank you, my lady. My lady, I think maybe if the witness just steps away.
Yes, the witness can step aside.
Thank you. My lady, I don't see how a lay witness can answer a legal proposition like that. She hasn't been referred to the Act. She doesn't understand its legal implications. It's a senseless question, with respect.
Mr. Pienaar, please, let's avoid asking witnesses questions that are legalistic.
With all due respect, my lady, I am obliged, I say with respect, to indicate to a witness if I am going to submit at any stage he or she had committed an offence. And I must indicate what the offence is. I cannot refrain from doing that and then at a later stage allege, no, but X or Y committed Z or D offence. I'm putting it here for the sake of completeness in order to found my submissions at the when these proceedings are finalised, my lady. And I would submit it's a valid question. It's same as saying to a person, to an accused witness, you committed theft. She can say, no, I did not. I deny that. Then it's for me to prove
Mr. Martin?
May it please the court, my lady.
He puts to the witness that she has committed a statutory offence. He doesn't take her through what the elements are of that statutory offence.
Do we know the section per se? Because it's just you just mentioned the Act itself.
Even if he were to do so, how can we expect a layperson to understand the legal implications of those elements? It's something for argument later on. This is a factual inquiry, and the legalities can be left to the lawyers at a later stage.
Mr. Pienaar?
My lady, with all due respect, Mr. Martin preempted. I was going to continue with my question to the witness, indicating why I have made this averment.
Please just do that for the sake of for the sake of completeness. Although the witness has already responded to say she doesn't have any comment, let's just close the issue. Can the witness come back?
I have no problem in doing that. I would have done it in any case, my lady.
Mr. Hodes, is anybody calling the witness?
My lady, my attorney is going to call her. I'll go check up on them.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. The witness is back. Mr. Pienaar?
May it please the court, my lady. Miss Mavundla, Mathangu, sorry. I put it to you that you disregarded the rights of the mental health care users during the termination project of the Life Esidimeni service level agreement as provided for in section 8 of the Mental Health Care Act, Act 17 of 2002.
I disagree with you, counsel.
I'll just continue for sake of completeness. In terms of section 8.1, subsection 1.
My lady, my hand is up.
Yes, thank you, Mr. I didn't pick that up. Thank you.
Lady, it's quite clear that the witness cannot answer a question as to what section 8 is. Mr. Pienaar is doing everything in reverse order, as pointed out by Mr. Martin. To tell somebody you've committed an offence, you've breached section 8 without ever explaining section 8 and then saying, well, for the sake of completion, I'm going to do that afterwards, is in reverse order with respect, my lady. It should be done in the opposite order. So I object to all this line of questioning, my lady.
Yes, Mr. Pienaar, I think this has been discussed. I thought you were saying you were completing this. But the way you are doing it, I think, how does the witness understand what you're asking her?
My lady, I'm putting to the witness what conduct reliance has been placed on and for which provision is made in section 8. It's not imperative that the witness must know what section 8 provides. But I'll rephrase my question and hopefully that will suffice. Now, Ms. Masangu, I put it to you, it's a requirement in terms of the Mental Health Care Act 17 of 2002 that mental health care users must be provided with care, treatment, and rehabilitation services that improve such mental health care users' mental capacity to develop to full potential and to facilitate his or her integration into community life. Do you agree with that? Do you have any comment?
Can the council put the respective legislation on screen so that I can see it?
It's section 8.
I don't
Mental
have,
Health Care
I
Act
don't have the
17 of 2002. I unfortunately do not have it with me at the moment.
Yes, but then you can read it properly to her.
Lady, I'll read the section. It is section 8 between brackets 1, subsection 1.
There it is. Somebody, thank you so much.
I'm indebted to the assistance in this regard.
Yes, continue, Mr. Pienaar. Which subsections? Is it subsection 8.1?
8.1 and then 8.2, my lady.
You can just have a look at the sections.
And what is the question, counsel?
Lady, with all the interaction, but I'll try and recollect. I put it to you, Ms. Matlangu, that you had failed to comply with the provisions stipulated in subsection 1 of section 8 and subsection 2 of section 8 of the Mental Health Care Act 17 of 2002.
I disagree. I disagree with you.
Thank you. And really for the sake of completeness, in terms of section 70 of the Mental Health Care Act, 17 of 2002.
Section 70.
70, my lady.
Okay.
Failure or neglect to comply with the provisions of the Mental Health Care Act amounts to an offence. And thus, I put it to you that at the end of these proceedings, Ms. Matlangu, I will submit that you are guilty of such an
before
offence.
the witness, yes, I wanted just before Ms. Matlangu response, there is an objection here. I wanted him to complete his question, Miss Merritt.
As a please, my lady.
I don't know what happened. We have lost her. Miss Merritt, are you still there?
My lady, you indicated that you wish Mr. Pienaar to complete his question first.
No, the question was completed.
As the court pleases. My lady, pertaining to section 70 of the Mental Health Care Act, it doesn't pertain to the findings that this court needs to make in terms of the Inquest Act, whether the actions of the witness caused or likely caused the death of the deceased. So I'm not sure as to why Advocate Pienaar is persisting to section 70. It does not relate to the Inquest Act or death to the deceased. It relates to other offences that can be considered, and that's not what the court needs to determine.
Thank you. We should not lose sight of the fact that once there is an objection, the witness must step aside. But in this instance, it's fine. You have made your point, Mr. Pienaar.
May it please the court, my lady, with all due respect, my submission is I am entitled to and obliged if I am going to make submissions that an offence has been committed, whether it can be causally linked to the death of any of the deceased is another scenario which does not come into play at this stage, my lady. And I am, what this aspect refers to, I have completed. I have one other small question to proceed with, which is not based on this, my lady. Totally different.
Yes, but there is an objection before the court. I see there is a hand. Whose hand is that?
Pardon, my lady?
It's my hand. It's Mr. Martin.
Yes, Mr. Martin.
My lady, this is precisely the concern that I raised earlier, which is that we're now interrogating a layperson about a specific offence, a statutory offence. This is not necessarily something that's related to the purpose of this inquest, which is just to determine the cause of death and whether or not the cause of death might be related to an offence. But this is something that's independent of that. And now we're going to have a lay witness answering questions about it. And it's exactly why I objected earlier. This line of questioning is simply not for a witness sitting in the witness box to deal with. If ultimately it's determined that the facts that your ladyship finds later on may have some bearing in this arena, it's something that can be dealt with at a later stage. And by mere repetition of the statement, I am entitled to ask this question, it does not mean that this is a relevant and proper line of cross-examination. I'm afraid it's just causing a lot of time wastage.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Martin. Mr. Pina, I think this was raised before, and I see you are persisting. Let me hear you.
No, my lady, with all due respect, this is not a waste of time. And furthermore, my lady, I indicated I have concluded my cross-examination in this regard. The witness is not being interrogated in a sense she must supply an answer which I would maybe want to hear.
Yes,
the witness can just say she has no comment to make, and that's fair.
No, but if that's you, that is what you think, Mr. Pinar. Therefore, I mean, you can leave that for argument. It's not something that, because now the witness is a lay person, and now you are referring her to. Yes, I'm just saying. I allowed you, but up to this end, I would agree with Mr. Martin. So I'm not going to allow this last question. Yes, continue.
My lady, I indicated to your ladyship that I have completed my cross-examination in that regard. I do not intend proceeding any further, and I am satisfied. I did not intend or endeavour to put further questions, notwithstanding the response of the witness, my lady, which I submit is relevant and appropriate. May it please the court, my lady, may I then have one further issue I would like to raise, which is short. I see it's 1 o'clock. I'm prepared to commence at 2 o'clock and finalise my cross-examination.
Do you still have a lot of questions? Is it only 1 point? Because we need to have an idea. When we come back...
It's only 1 point, my lady. Nothing extensive. So...
My lady...
let him finish. I've noted you, Mr. Mkar. Yes, Mr. Pinar?
My lady, I have no objection. I can proceed at this stage and finalise it, or otherwise I'll do it. It will be finalised soon after we recommence at 2 o'clock, after the lunch break.
Thank you.
May it please the court, my lady.
Yes, my lady. Well, Mr. Pinar has just told the court that he has concluded his cross-examination. So it ends there. I mean, that's how then we operate as lawyers. You can't say that I'm finished and then from there say that allow me to talk after that. So either he has concluded his cross-examination or he has not. Yesterday, he made an undertaking that he will finish his cross-examination by tea time. Now it's lunchtime. He never asked for any further extension. He wants further extension then to proceed even after lunch. This really then is holding everybody into detention unnecessarily. Thank you, my lady.
Mr. Pinar?
May it please the court, my lady, with all due respect to my learned friend.
Are you finished with your cross-examination?
I indicated I'm finished with the line of questioning I was busy with at the time the interjections came, my lady. And I indicated, I also mentioned, I have one last issue which will be short and quick to deal with. I did not formally conclude my cross-examination, my lady. And then I was misunderstood. But, my lady, with all due respect, I indicated I was hoping to be finished by tea time today, depending on the answers elicited. And since our tea break, we had other interruptions which I was not responsible for, my lady. And I concluded my cross-examination on all other issues besides this 1 point, which is not lengthy or anything of the kind, my lady.
Yes, Mr. Mkari, do you want to reply and then I close the issue?
Thank you, my lady. So if he has got 1 point, then he must just say that point because it won't take even more than 5 minutes.
Yes, it's now 1:10. Can we conclude that point so that when we resume after the lunch break, we should proceed with other people who want to proceed with the cross-examination of the witness.
May it please the court, my lady, I have no objection because it will not be lengthy in time or process.
Okay, we just hope so. Where is the witness, Mr. Odes? Thank you. Continue, Mr. Pina.
May it please the court, my lady, I'm indebted to your ladyship. Ms. Mahlangu, I'd like to refer you to exhibit LL1 that you handed in your evidence in chief on page 52347 thereof.
Page?
52, I'm not sure, maybe, yeah, 52347, my lady. Paragraph 63. Do you have it, Ms. Mahlangu?
I'm trying to navigate my way in case line.
Page 52347.
Yes, my lady. Paragraph 63.
I can't find the tab here on the which directs me to the page.
Yes, you have been directed to the page. You just press yes there.
My lady, my attorney is going to give her the hard copy of her statement. She had it before her, then it'll be easier for her to follow. Then we can speak.
No, it's fine. There is somebody who has Sacha has directed us to the page.
But it's not reflected on my side, Malay.
We don't have
it.
It's
not reflected on your side, okay.
Okay. So what's the 5.2? I can't type.
Thanks, Sacha. I got it.
Yes, I have it, my lady.
You may proceed.
That is the court, my lady. Ms. Mahlangu, if you have regard to paragraph 63, have you had the opportunity to peruse it?
Yes, Counsel, I have.
And do you agree with the content of that paragraph?
Yes, Counsel.
And do you confirm it?
Yes, Counsel.
Now, you intimate that the Life Esidimeni project, which I presume is the termination project, is that correct?
Yes, Counsel.
You say could have been handled better. You agree with it?
Yes, Counsel.
If you say better relating to the time period, or is that what you referred to?
No, I'm referring to range of things, Counsel, related to the project.
And then just lastly, you refer to the promotion of human dignity, the right to health care, including but not limited to the right to life. You see that?
That's correct, counsel.
And those are constitutional rights all mental health care users are entitled to. Is that correct?
Yes, counsel.
Very pleased to court, my lady. I have no further questions for this witness, and that concludes my cross-examination.
Thank you. Ms. Asim, I see your hand is now down.
My lady, what I was going to say isn't necessary given that Mr. Pinar has finished his cross-examination.
Okay, thank you. I see it's now 17 minutes past 1. We're going to take the lunch adjournment. Ms. Mahlangu, you are warned, as I did before when we took our tea breaks and lunch breaks. And I think we can resume at 2:15. And I think, Ms. Hasim, you're going to be the next one to continue.
That's correct, lady.
Come again?
Yes, that is right.
Okay. Court adjourns for lunch.
May it please the court, my lady.
You need to turn on the mic.
Sorry. My lady, is it possible that I leave my mic on because I end up delaying the court from responding on time?
Me also. If you leave it on, we are not going to be. I'm not going to be able to hear Ms. Hasim's questions. So that's why I also mute myself. Okay. So we'll keep on reminding you.
Thank you, my lady.
My apologies. So have you found the page at the bottom of 1920?
Yes, counsel, I have found the page at 775.
Correct.
5 years.
Yes. So she describes the items as those items are operating payments, travel and subsistence, communication, consumables, venue and facilities, catering and departmental activities, administration fees and entertainment, and the overall target for the whole of the provincial government is to cut 10% of non-core spending. You see that?
My lady, I honestly don't know. I'm seeing for the first time that the Department of Health was exempted from this, as it says, not for the Department of Health. If I may then take you to this presentation that we made to the PBC, my lady, through you. The
No. Sorry, Ms. Mahlangu. We can come there at the right time, but let me just finish this aspect. When she says not for the Department of Health, she's not excluding the department. She's saying that the cost cutting wasn't only for the Department of Health, but it was for the whole of the provincial government. And what the target was for the cost cutting was 10% of non-core spending. Do you see that?
Yes, I see it.
Okay.
I see it.
Okay. So she then goes on to say that on page 1921, right at the bottom, just around 800. So she explains the purpose of the Premier's Budget Council. And she says, the Council will make final budget allocations for priorities and pressure points. And I want to emphasize this issue of pressure points because I have explained to you, Justice, that even in tough financial situations, the Department of Health has received additional money in every budget and every adjustment. And that is relevant to this inquiry, because if at any stage we had been told we can't fund statutory services. Please give us more money. That could have been taken into consideration. Did you request additional money?
We always requested additional money, Council. The presentation that was made on the 13th of November had clear requests for priorities of government based on the announcement of the Premier. And half of the time, we never got the money we asked for at every given point in time, including in the adjustment. It's very interesting that today I learned that there was Department of Health could have asked for money and they could have gotten it. I'm sure that the doctors and the nurses are very surprised to be hearing this good news.
I don't think it's necessary for you to ramble off onto things that are not related to the question. I do want to finish my cross-examination with you today. So the shorter the answer, the better. Ms. Creasy says, did you ask, let me just put it to you this way, did you ask at that time, at that meeting, for additional money for Life Esidimeni or for the mental health care users so that you did not have to cancel the contract?
We didn't ask for money for Life Esidimeni contract. Okay. We asked for money for all other departmental priorities, my lady, because the Life Esidimeni Pro contract was being overspent. Therefore, we could not ask for additional money for it.
So as we go down on that page, Justice Moseneke, clarifies with Ms. Creasy. He says, so when an MEC has a pinch, a financial pinch on her shoe, this would be the place to come, isn't it? Meaning the PBC. She says, yes. Right? And then on page 1923, he says, so if Life Esidimeni was a real financial burden and it was going to break the dam walls, would this be the place where that would have to be reported? And Ms. Creasy said, yes. Okay, and then we come to your presentation. And I think that's where you were wanting to go as well.
Just before you go there, did she respond? I didn't get the response to what you've put to her just now before you spoke about the issue of the presentation.
I don't think there was a question, my lady. If there was, I apologize, I didn't hear it.
Ms. Hassim, was there a question?
Do you understand that? So Ms. Creasy is saying, in response to the judge, if there was a financial burden related to Life Esidimeni, you could ask the Premier's Budget Council for money. And she confirms again that that is so. Right? You can ask for additional funding at the PBC, correct?
The department always asks for additional money, Madam, my lady, for all the programs and the things that we couldn't do, including hiring basic nurses to do basic work of running the department. We've always asked for money. And thank you, my lady.
Okay, so let's then look at your presentation that you made at this meeting regarding additional money. And that's at page 32105. And you'll see that slide that says priority areas if additional money is available. You see that?
The slide is not legible, my lady.
On page 32105. You might need to...
I don't know if, is there anyone who can assist where we...
Okay, I'm here, I'm there, my lady.
Might need to zoom in.
This page, I can read it, I don't know.
It's 32106.
105.
32105.
And there's a slide that says priority areas if additional money is available. Right?
No, but cancel the slide in 32105. It's a table, MTF overall allocation on my case line.
Can you scroll down?
That's 32106.
No, 32105.
In 32105, my lady, this is what appears.
There's something at the bottom after that
that's
table.
right.
So that is the next page, my lady. 32106. That's what point I'm making.
What does it say, your next page?
32106. That's where what cancelled the slide that talks about priority areas if additional money was available.
Yours is on. It's in the on the next page.
It's 32106. Yes.
Yes. It's fine, Ms. Matlangu. You just showed us the first slide I was referring to, which is the heading slide that says priority areas if additional money is available, and you've shown it to us, so you've seen it. And then on 32106, you now go into the topic of priority areas for additional money, right?
Yes, Council.
And in these areas, you talk about, let me see, there are 4 areas. The first is modernization. And there it's about electronic patient records, picture archiving, communication system, etc. You see that?
Yes, Council.
And then if you scroll down, area number 2 is reducing waiting times.
Yes, Council.
If you scroll further, area number 3 is laundries. Right?
Yes.
And you say laundries are at least 40 years old and you need to replace obsolete equipment, etc. And then the 4th area is equipment.
Yes,
and then you explain what you would use the additional money for when it comes to equipment. But nowhere in here do you talk about funding for services for mental health care users or for life Esidimeni in order to preserve the quality of care of services for mental health care users, right?
Yes, Council, but these are broader Gauteng priorities that were announced by the Premier and which were at the core of the patient care in the province. As I said in my chief evidence in chief, that Gauteng was seeing at least a minimum of 7.1 million patients per annum about laundries, the equipment, all of these were going to the patient services. Again, the second point that I want to make is that the life Esidimeni, as we have seen in previous presentation that are up before this code, that the program or the contract per se was overspending year in and year out. So it could not have been part and parcel of this of these priorities as identified then.
Really not sure I understand the question, but you do agree with me that mental health care users are not included in the priority area for additional funding, right?
Mental health care programs are part and parcel of patient files and all of that. They include the overall patients of the department. There are no patients that are excluded over the others. When you talk about the patient's record, about laundry and all of these things, they relate to the Department of Health delivering healthcare to all patients in the province.
So you proposed to cut life Esidimeni. That was a proposal from the department, not from provincial treasury. Isn't that so?
Madam Lady, my lady, through you, this presentation is taken, the Department of Health, may I plead for your indulgence, goes to the PBC on the 13th. The items identified for cost containment are not these items listed here. Then we invited to come back on the 26th. When we go back on the 26th, these items are listed there. There's 14 of them or so.
Who listed them? Was it the provincial treasury or the Department of Health?
The provincial treasury, and then they were approved at the PBC. And thereafter, they were then implemented, my lady.
So these slides are not slides of the Department of Health?
The Department of Health, my lady.
Pardon?
What is the response?
debts are generated from the Department of Health, presented to the Budget Committee for approval.
Correct. Thank you. You see, Ms. Mahlangu, the reason it's relevant is because you have maintained consistently that you were under pressure to cut costs. And that was the reason for the termination of the contract with Life Esidimeni.
Just before she responds, is your question complete?
That's the first part of my question, my lady, but I'll wait.
I saw there was a hand. I just want to hear the concern of Mr. Sibera.
My lady, it's not a concern per se. I'm not sure if my learned colleague's questions, Advocate Asim AC, was answered by the witness. Just want to get clarity, my lady, if I didn't get the answer correctly. The question was, if I get it correctly from my senior, the cost-cutting measures, they were designed by Gauteng Department of Health, not by the Legislature. I have not gotten the answer from the witness to that effect. If I'm not correct, my senior can correct me.
I think so. Is that your hand that is still up? Please,
yeah, I'll drop it, my lady.
Please drop it.
My lady, the question was that it was designed by
the slides
Department of Health and not Provincial Treasury.
Just the slides, no?
Yes, my lady.
That is correct, my lady. Thank you.
Correct.
My understanding that the witness said that that is correct, that it was from the Department of Health and not from Provincial Treasury.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Thank you.
Continue. I think he interjected your first part of the next question.
Yes. My lady, I think what I was about to say was that Ms. Mahlangu, you have consistently maintained throughout these proceedings and in the arbitration that the driver for the termination of the contract with Life Esidimeni was cost. Isn't that so?
My lady, I've consistently said through you that there were three reasons: the deinstitutionalization, the budgetary constraints, as well as the issues rising from the Auditor General.
Okay. Okay. So if there was sufficient money, you would have still placed users in the NGOs if cost wasn't the issue.
I'm not sure. I don't have a clear answer.
Okay, that's fine. The second thing that emerges from what we've gone through is that what was presented to the PBC, where you say the decision was taken, was a reduction of 20% of the beds. So there could not have been a decision to terminate the contract with Life Esidimeni forthwith and to have it all the users moved within 6 months. That decision was not taken at the PBC, isn't that so?
I disagree with you, Councillor.
So how do you explain your presentation where the presentation only talks about 20%? And where Ms. Creasy also explains, well, that was the understanding, that it would be a 20% reduction. So slowly over time, move the users out of Life Esidimeni.
Through you, my lady, I think I wish to put these things in context.
Yes, please.
Answering counsel. The Department of Health is asked to come before the BBC like all other departments. The date is given, allocated on the 13th of November 2014. In the presentation, which was about 140 slides,
yes,
in that presentation from page 83 up to page...
Do you have it on case line?
I don't know, Council, but I have it up to page 88. There's cost containment that were presented by the department in the original PBC of the 14th.
Just a second, you said of the 13th of November.
The 13th of November. Then
yes, just before you proceed, I'm sorry, Mr. Odes, just check if we have that on case line.
My lady, we do have it. I don't want to interrupt Ms. Hassan because I saw that last time it broke a chain of thought. It's at page 51995 and following, my lady.
51995.
No, not
51995.
As your ladyship pleases.
Thank you. Yes, this is a presentation of the 13th of November.
Yes, in this presentation, my lady.
Just a second. Yes, you may continue.
In this presentation, my lady, there's cost containment that as proposed by the department then. It starts with the major cost drivers. There, it doesn't say cut costs, but it simply says these are the cost drivers that are driving the cost in the department, and those items are listed there. And then it goes to the actual expenditure vis-a-vis the revised expenditure, and then it goes to the cost containment as we're proposing then, particularly page 85, 86, 87, as well as 88. In this presentation, the items listed.
My lady, if I could just ask the listeners to slow down so I can locate all of these pages.
Please slow down. We're still looking at the pages. And remember, you have got the original pages. We have had copies of those pages. So we need to get those pages that you have just referred us to. Mr. Hodes, can you assist us quickly?
It's from 85, page 85, my lady, of the slides. I don't know the case line.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
My lady, Martin is going to find page 85 now, but I also want to just echo what your ladyship had just said, that the witness must bear in mind that we're looking on screens. We don't have the originals. So page 85, my ladies, 52079. If you'll just wait, Miss Mkhlangu, because we need to find the pages. 52079 is 85, and then she was dealing with the 86, which is 52080, and 87, which is 52081, my lady. I apologize that you went so quick.
If we have the first number, it's okay. The first page number. 85 52079. Then we yes, know that the pages follow each other. Okay. You may proceed, Ms. Mahlangu. Remember, we are not part of these things. We don't know how you politicians do your things. Please explain so that we can follow your evidence.
Thank you, my lady, and I apologize if I
Yes, you can just repeat what you have been saying for all of us to follow your evidence.
My lady, the PBC, how it works, departments are invited to come and present, given a format to follow. The format is designed by Treasury, and all departments must adhere to that format.
Yes.
And I'm going to confine myself to the specific pages from 85 that talks about the cost containment as proposed originally by the Department of Health. Compensation of employees, it specifically states what the issues are there. It talks about medical gases, and those are like issues relating to AFROX, DID, Department of Public Works, which is infrastructure that was contracting those services on behalf of the department, the medical waste, the laundries, the vaccines, the litigation, the reducing the expenditure on NHLS. Let me qualify, NHLS is a core service. However, there was an investigation done by National Treasury, which established the fact that there was a lot of abuse in terms of blood tests, that were done on patients that were not public patients, but they were private patients. As a result of that, whatever debt that the Department of Health was owing to NHLS, that debt was not justified. That the decrease, and therefore there were systems that we needed to put in place so that there must be efficiencies in the way blood tests are ordered by the medical professionals at the point of care. The decrease in terms of wastage on blood and blood products, in simple terms here, is that sometimes there'll be unnecessary ordering of blood services from the blood bank, and some of them will not be utilized, then putting systems in place again to deal with those kind of issues. And the other one was the reduced cost of pharmaceutical items, and there were specific issues relating to the contract in regards to this. And the last one was reducing cost of servicing medical equipment. These were the things that the Department of Health went with to the first PBC meeting. Then after this meeting, after the discussion, then the department is asked to go back. It was a tradition. If the PBC doesn't feel that you have covered all the things and some of your proposals do not go far enough in assisting the province to reach its objective, you are sent back. The Department of Health was sent back to go back and look for items or things that can be included in the cost containment, particularly as it relates to items that can help the department to achieve a clean report and deal with all the other challenges that the department was facing. This is what my evidence is, my lady, and I've been consistent in raising these issues ever since I took the stand from the arbitration and ever since this court has started. Thank you very much.
All right. Proceed, Ms. Asim. I can see you look very tired, eh? Ms. Asim?
No, my lady, I'm fine. I just to get clarity. So you've referred us now to these pages that you say were presented on the 14 November. And then you say, correct me if I'm wrong, that you were then sent back to work further to include more items where you can cut costs.
Yes, Council, that's correct.
You are asked to do more and include more items. Is that?
Yes, Council, that is correct, Council.
Can I refer you to page 31333?
My apologies, I'm just trying to 3-1.
31333. Let me know when you have it, please.
I am there, my lady.
Yes, you can have a look at the letter before questions are put to you.
Yes, I am there, my lady.
No, it's fine. I thought you were reading the letter first.
Yes, my lady, I have read the letter.
No, it's fine. Let me just quickly finish. Yes, Ms. Asim.
Thank you, my lady. So, Ms. Mahlangu, this is a letter addressed to you by MEC Creasy, correct?
Yes.
And this is the request to return to the PBC. And refers to the meeting that was held 11 to 13 November 2014. And then she says, subsequent to that meeting, it was decided that your department should come back to PBC with a feedback on the following. And then there are 3 bullet points. Can you show us where in the 3 bullet points it requests further items for cost cutting?
The department, bullet number 2, the department should demonstrate the decision being taken on their budget and share the quantification of their cost containment.
So you understood that to mean that the request was cut more costs?
It was clearly stated, my lady, that the department must go back and look for items that will be added in the cost containment. I am not manufacturing this.
Okay. Ms. Lango, let me just put to you what I see as the interpretation here. And that is the relevant part you said is bullet 2. And it says the department should demonstrate the decision being taken on their budget and share the quantification of their cost containment. So what was asked was feedback that shows the decision being taken and quantify it so that the PBC could understand what the amount of cost containment would be achieved through your budget.
But I disagree with you, sir. I disagree with you.
You disagree. Okay. Okay. In any event, what you then did is
government.
Just a second.
Sorry.
My lady, you're muted.
Yes, I don't think you're going to be properly captured on record because it appears you are talking simultaneously.
I would like to move on from this point.
Yes, but my problem is I didn't pick up what you were talking about. I don't think it's going to be properly captured.
I understand. So let me repeat, Ms. Mahlangu, what I'm saying is that after this letter, you then returned to the BBC 26 November and you made the presentation. We've already looked at that presentation. It's the one that includes Life Esidimeni, right?
Yes, my lady.
And in that presentation, what you presented was a 20% reduction of beds. Isn't that so? I can't hear you.
There are pages I don't see in this presentation. I have the full one. The presentation that was made in that meeting was about the 12, 14 items that related to the cost containment of the department. And I'm not sure how the 20% cutting of the reducing the beds at Life Esidimeni comes into the PBC. But counsel, with your permission, my lady, can I just go back and look at this document? I can give counsel a feedback because there's something that I do not understand about this document.
Yes, we've looked at it already. I'll take you back. I'll take you back to the relevant page.
No, my lady.
You are muted.
It's page 32100. I can't hear you.
You are muted, Ms. Mahlangu.
Apology, my lady. Please forgive me. My lady, may I just beg for indulgence? I need to just need few minutes to look at the original presentation I have that we made there. Then I can engage. I can come back to talk to counsel about it, if possible.
It's not on case line.
No, the one that's on case line is not the full presentation. I have the full presentation.
Hey, Mr.
If I may assist, my lady, maybe Ms. Hassim can take the witness through the one that she attached to her warning statement. It is QDM1 It starts at page 1692 up to 1711, and it's total of 20 pages. That is the tabbed pages, because the last page, which is page 20 of it, it has at the top the end. So that seemed to be a complete document. But this is what was attached by the witness to a warning statement.
Can I just confirm page 1692 to 1711?
That's correct, my lady.
I'm indebted to my colleague.
We can have a look at that so that maybe we can save time. Thank you, Mr. Mkari.
My lady, it's
You're
not
welcome.
it's not the full presentation. Thank you, counsel. May I request just for 5 minutes to look at the document?
Did you look at the one that counsel has referred
Yes,
us to?
I've just glanced through it, my lady. It's not the document I'm looking for.
Okay.
But, Lady, if I could just ask questions about this document, which the witness provided.
Let's give her about. I think Mr. Hodes has got something to say before I decide whether to release the witness. Mr. Hodes?
My lady, the presentation at page 51995 is 140 pages. I think that's the full document that she's looking for. It goes from 51995 to 52135. So if she can just use that one, because then she's on the same page numbering as us. It's 51995 to 52135, which comprises of 140 pages, my lady.
My lady, that is, sorry, she may wish to refer to that, but that's the presentation of 13 November, not 26 November. That's what I'm talking about.
She's talking about the original presentation. I don't know what she's talking about. She knows better. Ms. Mahlangu, is it the document that you want to refer to?
No, my lady, the document that my counsel is referring to is the one on the 13th. The one I'm talking about is on the 26th of November. May I just please beg for Ndalins somewhere here?
But is it not? Are you saying it's not this, or you're disputing the one that is on case line? Okay.
No, I'm not disputing, my lady, but I just need to verify something with your permission, please.
Okay, you may do so. What is happening, Dr. Manamela, or is that, who is that? Hey. Dr. Manamela? Mr. Sibara, just check with your client. I don't know what she wanted to do.
Sorry, my lady, my apologies. She was reconnecting. She was kicked out for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, my lady.
Thank you. And no, Mr. Msenoki?
When Chai says Friday.
My lady, I can't find the document, but we can proceed. Then,
Ms. Hasim, please remember this, because as she's saying she's looking for documents, I remember that Mr. Pinar also left an issue hanging. Remember when we adjourned for lunch?
Yes.
She said she wanted to verify something, and then now, because Mr. Pinar's cross-examination was long, he even forgot to revisit that point. I hope you are listening, Mr. Pinar. Once Ms. Hasim is finished, I don't want you to interrupt her. Maybe you can just deal with that, and then we lay the matter to rest.
Right, please the court, my lady.
You remember that?
I don't remember exactly what the issue was at that stage.
You won't, because she said no. Perhaps you give me the chance, like as she's doing now. But I'm just alerting also Ms. Hasim not to forget the point. You can just go through your notes. Maybe they will assist you. But I will also check in order to assist you.
Recollect that it was maybe so important that I wanted to pursue it further at that stage. It may be the reason, but I'll endeavor to do that, my lady.
Okay, that's fine.
Your ladyship.
Okay. Ms. Hasim?
Thank you, my lady.
It's
attached to your warning statement, as Advocate Muhari pointed out, is a presentation that begins on page 1692. And it's the first slide of the presentation. You'll see it's the slide, it's a title slide, right?
Are you there, Miss?
Sorry, my lady, I forgot to unmute.
You agree?
I don't think she's there already. If she can assist us, because I mean, we don't know whether you managed to get the page.
Yes, my lady, I'm at the page where counsel is. I'm on this presentation, the cost containment.
Yes, the first page of that.
Yes, I'm there, counsel.
But do you have the first page? It's at page 1692.
I don't think the page is the same. This one,
it says litigation. The page I have start from page 4.
We're at QDM. I don't know whether this is 3. Am I correct?
Doesn't have all the pages what I have here.
Yeah,
it's a problem. When you go to case lines, because the full presentation is on case lines at 1692. That's.
You can go to case line, Miss Mahlangu.
I'm doing that, my lady.
Please.
I'm there, my lady.
Okay. So 1692, you see that's a title slide?
Yes, my lady.
So it's cost containment revenue enhancement measures, 26 November 2014. Presentation to the Premier Budget Committee.
Yes, my lady.
And then the next page, 1693, is the table of contents, and that's slide 2. You see that? See that?
I don't think she's on case line. I don't know what she's doing there.
Slide 2. What's the heading, my lady?
Content.
Yes, the content is there. Containment revenue 2014-15 priority areas.
Correct.
Yes, I'm there, counsel.
Okay. And then the very last slide of this presentation is at page. Excuse me.
I think it's page 819.
1711.
Yes, my lady.
Okay, and that's the last page of the presentation, isn't it?
Yeah, it says question and answers.
Yes, it says at the end.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the full presentation, correct?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So we've been derailed. Where we were was I was saying to you that what was presented at the 26 November PVC was a proposal for a reduction of 20% of beds at Life Esidimeni. And that's in this presentation. And you wished to dispute that.
Yes, Councillor, the point I'm not disputing, but the point I'm making here is that the 20% reduction, as it was implemented before I came into the department at the time, and remember this was 2014, at the time when I arrived, when we took a decision in the PVC about cancellation of the contract, and you look at towards the end, or this is a slide I was looking at, Council, which talks about the items to be listed here, of that are on page 1704. Those are cost containment and Life Esidimeni project is also included here. So yes, there is a reflection on what was happening in that department then, and then at the later stage, if you see at the later stage, this is a slide I was looking for, which is reflected here on the things that needs to be done in ensuring that we save enough costs. And from this slide in particular, then the agreement was that the department will save about 700 million rand, and that money will be deployed back into the services of the department.
So I think you're confusing the total savings with the savings from Life Esidimeni. It's not 700 million.
No, I'm not confusing the Council.
Okay, well, let's look at the slide you're referring us to.
Council, I'm looking at the slide. The first part of the slide is
704, right?
The first slide is cost containment. The latter portion is possible revenue to be raised. The point I'm making that in the end, the department was expected to save about 700 million rands. That will be then deployed back to the services.
Sorry, Advocate Asim, sorry to interject you. Can you see the quote from your side?
I can,
Oh, okay.
Sibara.
Thank you.
I'm not surprised, Mr. Sibara. It's Friday afternoon.
Ms. Mahlangu,
That's why I've at least I could see the face of Mr. Museneri today. Yes, continue.
We're looking at page 1704, correct?
I am there, Council.
Right. And you see Life Esidimeni is listed under cost containment.
Yes, Council.
And the amount, the rand value of the saving is 50,200,000, correct?
Yes, Council.
Okay, which represents 20% of the budget for Life Esidimeni at that time, which was about 250 odd million.
No, I don't think you are correct. Remember when my council started, I think at the beginning of the inquest, there was a slide presentation that was shared on the expenditure of the money that the department was spending year in, year out, related to the service provided through Life Esidimeni. And throughout that time, there was over expenditure. You budget, as an example, for 10 rand, you spend 15 rand, you budget for 20 rand, you end up spending this. So the savings that you reflected in this amount relate to the money that would have been saved from the time when the department, we took a decision that we must refer patients, mental health care users, lesser to life Esidimeni in anticipation of ending the contract. Therefore, the money, I think the slide is somewhere in the court processes. We can look at that. But anyway, I was not dealing with the details of this thing. This is what was shared with me with the officials in relating to that. But the 50 million rand does not represent the 20% as I understood it or as I was told.
So I'm putting to you that there was no decision taken to cancel the contract with Life Esidimeni at this meeting of 26 November. That the only discussion, let me finish, that the only discussion was about a 20% reduction of beds. And we've already looked at that slide that talks about 20%. And this slide says 50 million, which represents 20% of the overall budget for Esidimeni. That is what I'm putting to you. Therefore, there could be no decision.
I disagree with you, Council. It was not my decision. The Selby Park, the 102 million rand, was the money that would have been realized from services that were rendered by Selby at the time. And you go on for all the services that are identified here. And the 15 million rand arises out of the money that would have been saved, that was saved when the department stopped providing services at the Alex Clinic through the mode of delivery that was done before that, because it was done 15 million more expensive than the other size, the size of the clinic that the department.
I think you have answered, and these other details, I don't know whether they are relevant for us, but you have answered to say you disagree with the statement.
Thank you, my lady.
Yes, continue.
Thank you, my lady. I think we've dealt with this issue sufficiently. I will argue that there was no decision taken on the 26th of November 2014 to cancel the contract. It was at best a discussion of 20% reduction.
Come again?
My lady, I'm saying it was at best a discussion of 20% reduction of beds, not a cancellation of the entire contract.
Okay, I think she has responded to say she disagrees, then we can move on.
That's right. I'm just, for the record, saying that will be my argument.
Okay.
We can move on, my lady. However, I'm now, I've dealt with the issue of roles and responsibility, the decision to terminate, and costs as a reason, and I remain to deal with the next topic. So can we, I think it's best that I don't begin the next topic now and resume on Monday.
I think, yeah. It's now 6 minutes before 4 o'clock. The witness is warned. The proceedings are therefore adjourned until, what is the date for Monday?
The 8th of May, my lady.
Yes, thank you. The proceedings are therefore adjourned to the 8th of May, 2023. Thank you.
Thank you, my lady.
The court pleases.
May it please
As the court pleases.
As the court pleases.
As the court pleases.
As the court pleases, my lady.